Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Enzo Maresca speaks out on how Jamie Gittens fits into his system. Arsenal have made an official bid for Noni Madueke, and we also have some transfer updates regarding Nicolas Jackson, Mike Penders, and Petrovic. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Seb SB and The Athletic have reported that Chelsea believe Jamie Gittens is one of the finest under-21 wingers in European football, but have been equally attracted by his character and by how much first-team experience he has. They go on to say that Enzo Maresca spoke with Jamie Gittens and is convinced he could be successful within his system. Chelsea fans are very excited to see Jamie Gittens, myself included. I think this is a really good system that Maresca's got. The players are ticking. Every game we're playing, we're getting better and better. And you know, Maresca's managed to sign some of the profiles he needed for this summer. We've seen it with Joao Pedro, who's got off to an unbelievable start, and he can obviously play in a multiple facet of positions. But Jamie Gittens is that left winger that we needed. We went after him. We ended up paying around 48 million with add-ons or something, pushing it over to 50 million. He is going to be so good. He's explosive with his pace. He's technically a good dribbler. He can go either side and go right or left when he's taken on his fullback. There's been reports before of Enzo Maresca's conversation with Gittens, and Gittens was basically saying, like, I'm a winger that stays high and wide, likes to beat the fullback, try and create something or score goals for the team. And Maresca has convinced him on the project. I honestly feel like Jamie Gittens is going to do so well in a Chelsea shirt. Just by looking at how Delap has fitted in, he's obviously a Maresca profile. Yes, he had not a very good game in his last appearance. He was substituted off. You know, whether that was just the way the game unfolded or it was just a Delap poor performance, it's kind of hit and miss there. You know, he's still relatively new to this Chelsea side. But the way Joao Pedro's hit the ground running, and again, he is a Maresca profile, could play a myriad of positions. We saw that second goal that he scored was unbelievable, but that was him coming in off that left-hand side on the break, beating that fullback, creating space, and making an incredible finish. And if Jamie Gittens is a type of player to play in those types of spaces as well, this can be a really good relationship within that Chelsea side. Because like I said, we're starting to tick now. Things are clicking into place. We're becoming a very difficult team to break down and beat because we look defensively a lot more solid than we have done. Yes, we might concede the odd goal here and there, but overall the defence looks a lot more solid. We look a lot more fluid going forward, and we're starting to see us being more clinical going forward as well in that final third. With these new signings coming in, you can just see that there's a big step up. There is a huge step up. Delap takes a chance that he got in his game to get his goal. That he didn't have many other chances. He took it. Joao Pedro, unbelievable. Took 2 half chances and turned them into 2 goals. And it's all about Maresca's team is being settled and now taking it to the next level without disrupting things, and having these profiles being added is just... It's so exciting to be a Chelsea fan. I wish that Gittens could have played in the Club World Cup. We would have had like a sneak peek of what he's going to be like in the Premier League. However, he obviously is cup tied, so he can't play. The earliest we can see him play is in them pre-season games, which start on Friday the 8th of August, and then I believe it's Sunday the 12th or 11th of August. It's a couple of games, a couple of days apart, and then we start the Premier League season. So I'm very excited to see Jamie Gittens. Do you feel like he will fit into a Maresca side perfectly? Do you think it's going to take time to adjust? Do you feel like he is the right signing for that left-hand side? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below on how well you think Jamie Gittens will do in a Chelsea shirt. And about an hour after I uploaded yesterday's video, Fabrizio Romano reported an exclusive that Arsenal submitted initial bid for Noni Madueke around a £50 million package, add-ons included. Chelsea want more than £50 million fixed, as Elanga/similar deals remain their reference. Good relationship between clubs as talks continue, and Madueke agreed terms with Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano also reported that Madueke is very excited about the opportunity to join Arsenal and talks continue. Madueke is an important target, and relationship between Chelsea and Arsenal is excellent. The Guardian Sport reported there is a feeling at Chelsea that Noni Madueke has not progressed enough. This is very interesting. I've said this many times now. Noni Madueke to Arsenal is pretty much a done deal. It's not officially been confirmed, but it's pretty much done. It's pretty much done. We're at the club-to-club stages. Chelsea want £50 million because they're looking at the like Mohamed Kudus deal, where it's gone for £55 million to Spurs with some outrageous sort of add-on clauses of winning the Champions League and the Premier League, which is wild to me. And also the Elanga deal, where it's over the £50 million mark as well. And I think Chelsea are well within their rights. We don't have to sell Madueke. Like we said before, he's not untouchable. They're willing to listen to offers. Arsenal are interested. They want to make him a top quality left winger. They've come in with £50 million. Chelsea has basically said, let's start there, and then we can negotiate north of that price. We're not going lower. We want more than £50 million as a fixed price, because look at these other deals. we feel like Noni Madueke is worth in and around that price mark. So, we know that Noni Madueke has agreed the personal terms on a 5-year deal of a similar pay structure to what he's currently on at Chelsea. So that's pretty much done, dusted. Madueke is looking forward to the opportunity of playing in Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. It's just on club to club. So I think this deal is pretty much done and dusted. And knowing my luck, as soon as I upload this video, it will be officially announced an hour or two later. But this deal is pretty much done. I think Chelsea can manage to get that 55 million. Whether it's 50 million fixed with 5 in add-ons, or a straight 55 million, or even, 52.5 million fixed or whatever. I feel like if Arsenal really want this player, if Arteta really wants Madueke, they will budge on that price. 50 million plus add-ons. To be fair, you're probably looking at around a £45 million bid with add-ons to make it 50, right? So you're not asking the world of the other club. It's just restructuring the initial deal and asking for a little bit more money. And in football terms, it's not really a lot. So good luck to Noni Madueke, I suppose. I feel like he's going to Arsenal. The writing's on the wall. We're pretty much waiting for the here we go from Fabrizio or a bomber from Ornstein. But yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm kind of indifferent. Like, of course, I want Chelsea to keep someone like Noni Madueke because I feel like he still has a place in this squad, and I feel like this would have been the season where he kicks on and really improves. But at the same time, him going to Arsenal, I'm like, cool, if we're getting over 50 million for him, it's going to be a one-in, one-out system. We're going to have to go buy someone. We've got Willian Esteval coming in. We've got Gittens now. We've got Neto. Tyreek George looks like he's going on loan. We are going to need to go buy someone, whether it is a Morgan Rogers type player who can play anywhere across that front line. Kudos is now gone to Tottenham, so it leaves Morgan Rogers or a Malik Fofana for strictly on that left-hand side. I mean, he can probably play a couple of other positions too. So it's going to be an exciting time. If we're going to be offloading Noni Madueke and upgrading in some way, I'm all for it. And if Noni Madueke stays, fights for his place and develops this season, I'm all for it. So I'm kind of on the fence, but I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this. Do you feel like Noni Madueke is a stake for going to a London rival? Do you wish him well in the future? Do you feel he's going to come back and bite us in the bum by him going to a London rival? Do you think £55 million is enough for Noni Madueke? We purchased him for around 30 to 35 million pounds, obviously when we bought him a few seasons ago. So it is a sizable amount of profit for Chelsea. So obviously they're going to be happy and ticking boxes, but they feel like he hasn't progressed enough. And I kind of hear that. He had his best return for Chelsea last season. He was the highest goal-scoring winger. But obviously they're expecting more from him. And the fans expect more from him on a consistent basis. I will wholeheartedly say he's a very frustrating player to watch. And he can be very inconsistent with his performances. But, that's basically what Chelsea think. That's the situation. We are waiting for the here we go. We'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Who should be Noni Madueke's replacement with the money we receive from Arsenal? The Athletic have reported that Joao Felix and Ben Chilwell are part of a group of unwanted and fringe Chelsea players who have reported for training at Cobham this week. The overall number who attended the club's training base on Monday was well into double figures. They then go on to report that Sterling has not yet returned, but that was expected. I tell you what, Chelsea fans, we have got to go on a massive selling spree. There are so many players that we are looking to offload. We could be here all day listing them, but just from this alone, Felix, Chilwell, Sterling, Disassi, there's so many. There is just so many that my brain can't understand all of them at once. There is so many that we're trying to offload. So we do need to go on a massive selling spree. Renato Vega's been linked recently. Even the likes of Nicolas Jackson, which we're going to speak about later on in this video, so make sure you keep watching. There's so many. We need to sell them all. And I feel like Chelsea can generate a lot of money by not being greedy and also just, getting fair market value and selling these players. I mean, there's a lot of them like Armando Broja. We're not going to get a lot of money for him, but we want to cut ties, or both parties want to cut ties. There's players from all variants within that list. It's going to be very tough for Chelsea as well. We're quite lucky in a sense that we've managed to be aggressive in the market and get our deals done early while in the Club World Cup, well, the majority or the most big priority ones, because now we've got the rest of the window to try and offload players and then maybe pick up one or two signings depending on how it goes. Again, Noni Madueke being added to that list. That was one that wasn't initially on this long list of players that we're looking to get rid of, but has happened from an opportunity that's been arisen. Like, they've listened to the offer, they're happy to accept it. So I feel like in that instance, like I said, it'll be a one in, one out type thing. But with the rest of the players, being in double digits is wild. And this is where I feel like Chelsea board and the owners over the last few years have done everything at like Mach 10. buying so many players, selling so many players, buying so many players, rinse and repeat in that cycle. But I feel like we're really going to slow down after this summer window because the squad's settled. We're still buying players that we need, key players, and we've still got a load of players we're looking to offload, which will then boost our books as well. The Club World Cup also helps with that type of thing. Having a front of shirt sponsor will also help with that type of thing in terms of revenue. But then after the season starts, it should literally be a case of any market opportunities where Chelsea feel like, it's a good value for money or they're a good addition to the squad, or it's basically one in, one out, because we'll have the depth, we'll have the right profiles that Maresca needs. I can't see us then going and buying 15 more players and then selling another 12, because we're just now culling down all the players that we don't want. And now it's just kind of loanees, etc. What's going to happen with them? Are they going to go development? They're going to come back? Are we going to sell them? Are they going to stay with the first team? So it's going to be very interesting to see how much money we can generate in terms of the club. There's a lot of clubs interested, even people like Nkunku and others as well. I feel like Chelsea can generate a lot of money from their sales. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below about Chelsea's long list of players that need to be sold. Do you think Chelsea can get rid of 100% of them? Do you think that we'll be stuck with some until at least the January window? How much money do you think Chelsea could generate just from player sales this summer window? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. Matt Moretto has reported that AC Milan have inquired about Chelsea's Nicolas Jackson and Crystal Palace's Jean-Philippe Mateta. Very, very interesting. Nicolas Jackson, in general, the whole overarching story of his Chelsea future to me is very interesting because it seems like a lot of Chelsea fans are done with him. Fair enough. He's a very frustrating player. After seeing his performance in the semi-finals, he was very, very frustrating in a sense that you could see he was trying to do everything he can to prove a point and fight for his place. You could also see he was very frustrated and flustered, and it was overwhelming to him. You could see heavy over touches. Obviously, that pass to Palmer, which he didn't make and he could have, and Palmer's reaction to it, he tried taking the shot on, hits the side netting. He knows he needs to fight for his place. He wants to do what he can to secure his position because he's now got Delap and Joao Pedro that are miles clear of him currently. Going off of the back of the red cards recently and the attitude and the discipline, look, we know that he wants to fight for his place. We know that he really likes being at the club because he tells us multiple times how sorry he is and how he wants to fight for his place and he loves being here. And I think Chelsea fans are just done with him. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he stays and fights or if Chelsea do get an acceptable offer that we offload him. Because if we do offload him, we have Pedro, Delap. Do we then go and get another forward, or does Guiu then go into Jackson's place and Guiu doesn't go on loan and stays? Because at the moment, if Jackson stays, you've got your three of Delap, Pedro, Jackson, and Guiu will more likely go on loan. But if Jackson goes, does Guiu then stay as a third choice to then get extra minutes throughout the season? I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. I think Mark Guiu deserves more minutes. He's a fantastic raw talent who needs to develop, and we are very happy with what we see with him. You can just tell that he is very raw. And I feel like if he can get as many minutes as possible, and without sustaining any injuries, it'd be very, very good for his development. But if we do keep Jackson, I think it makes sense for Guiu to go out on loan to increase his development. And for me, it's just very interesting. I backed Jackson when we bought him, and I was like, you can tell that he's raw and he's young and he's inconsistent and he's got a bit of an attitude problem, which was sorted fairly quickly. The discipline has become more of an issue recently, let's be honest. I feel like he has improved, but he has miles off to where we need him to be to lead the line for Chelsea. And he hasn't really had any competition in that position for the time that he's been here. Now he's got some major competition in Joao Pedro and Delap, the way they've hit the ground running overall in a Chelsea shirt so far. It's a scary time. But I will also say, as much as I back Jackson, I feel very much like the Noni Madueke deal. If he goes, cool. If we get some good money for him, amazing. It'll be interesting to see what happens off the back of that. But if he stays and fights for his place, I'm happy for him to do that. I still think he's very young. I still think, Chelsea spent £32 million on him. If we can make some profit and then go get someone else, or even just pocket the money and see how we can give the minutes to Guiu to develop, I'm happy with that. I'm not one of these fans that want him out, wants him gone. Even in my predicted 11, I'm saying that he's still going to play, he's going to get minutes. People are like, oh no, we don't want to see him in a Chelsea shirt ever again. He's done, sell him, get rid of him. I hear it, I really do. But I just think while he's at Chelsea, he will get minutes at some point. He has to. It's rotation. We know what Maresca likes about these players. And I feel like the trust isn't completely broken between Maresca and Jackson, but it's to the point where it needs some serious repair. And I feel like Jackson can only do that if he's trusted with minutes on the pitch. So it's just going to be a very interesting scenario to see if someone like AC Milan, I think he'd do well in the Italian league, if I'm being honest, come in for him. Napoli were interested. There's a couple of other teams in Europe that have been, reports are saying that they are interested in the profile of Nicolas Jackson. So my question to you is, do we sell Jackson? How much do we get for Jackson? Would you give him a chance? Would you persevere with him for at least another season and see if he develops within this competition of Delap and Joao Pedro? Very curious to know your thoughts regarding this, because again, I can see it from multiple points of view, and the fan base seems to be very split on Nicolas Jackson specifically. So very curious to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Fabrizio Romano reported an exclusive that Bournemouth have submitted an opening official bid to Chelsea for Jordi Petrovic. Negotiations ongoing between clubs as players keen on the move to Bournemouth. Nothing was done/close with Sunderland last week, as Bournemouth are now hopeful of getting a deal done. He then goes on to say that after the official bid sent on Wednesday is revealed, Bournemouth are confident to get Jordi Petrovic deal done. Understand Petrovic has already accepted to join Bournemouth. Final green light from Chelsea expected soon. So it looks like Jordi Petrovic is leaving Chelsea. It doesn't say what the official bid is, but we are well aware that Chelsea want at least £25 million for Petrovic to leave. Hopefully we get around £25 million. If it's a flat fee, cool. Chelsea get what they asked for. Petrovic gets what they asked for. Every party is happy. I think he'll do very well at Bournemouth. I think he'll do very well. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. And this is one of the ones that genuinely makes me a little bit sad, because I feel like, you know, yes, I know that there was a bit of a situation where Petrovic was expecting to have that number one spot guaranteed, and Chelsea were like, you have to fight for that position. And again, people have varying views on it. You know, he still has to come and earn his spot. I totally agree. I feel like he is a better keeper than Sanchez, though. Let's be real. I think that he is better with his feet, better as a shot stopper, just better all round. But that's just my opinion. I would love to know yours down below. I know that Sanchez has improved, but Maresca trusts Sanchez. The board sees something in Sanchez that we're still waiting to see, really. He has improved over the last few months. I'm not going to take anything away from him there. But it would have been very interesting to see Petrovic in and amongst the mix, sort of fighting for that number one position. But ultimately, Petrovic wants number one football. He wants to move away. He feels like he's earned it. He feels like he deserves it with the development he had at Strasbourg. He was their player of the season last season. And we saw that Sunderland were coming in. That deal was getting very, very close, or it seemed to be by the reports, but according to what Fabrizio said, it wasn't. Now, Bournemouth are basically waiting for the green light. Players accepted terms. Chelsea are just waiting to essentially approve or deny the move. So Jordi Petrovic leaving Chelsea is pretty much guaranteed at this point. We're just waiting. And again, knowing my luck, after this video has been uploaded, Fabrizio will then confirm that he has left. So if he has, let me know in the comments. So it'll be very interesting to see what the official bid that goes through is, if Chelsea are going to accept it or push back on it. I'm hoping it is around that 25 million that Chelsea wanted. And obviously, that was like a gentleman's agreement that Petrovic and the club had. So if they're willing to let him go for that money, hopefully they hold up on that deal. So yeah, you know, I upload 3 p.m. every day, or as close to, depending on life circumstances. It'll be very interesting to see how far from this upload to the actual here we go we get. Because knowing my luck, it will just be uploaded, and then 5 minutes later, it'll be like, here we go, Petrovic to Bournemouth. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Jordi Petrovic. Are you sad that he's going to be moving to another Premier League club? Do you want to keep him at Chelsea? Do you feel like he should have been number one going into the next season? Very curious to know your thoughts. And Sasha Tavaleri has reported that Mike Penders is close to being loaned to Strasbourg. Now, this makes things extremely interesting, in my opinion, because what we were led to believe is Penders was going to stay at the club as a third choice and kind of be in and amongst the first team and try and, you know, break through the ranks, because we know he's a fantastic, technically gifted keeper, but he's just young. And that's what the club have been saying. Like, he's just a bit young. We're going to let him develop, etc. If we're selling Petrovic and then loaning out Penders, that leaves us with 2 goalkeepers. So that tells me that we have to go back into the market for a goalkeeper in the remaining time of the window. We would be fools not to. Whether it's to replace Sanchez, whether it is to get someone else as a third choice, it doesn't really matter. A lot of us are screaming out for a new number one, and I totally get it. I would love a new number one. Realistically, the way that Enzo sort of promotes, supports, encourages Sanchez, it's going to take a lot to pry him away. However, there's been like conflicting reports over the summer that Enzo Maresca wants a new number one. He doesn't trust Sanchez anymore. But then there's also reports saying that he backs him and he feels that he can do a job and he is improving. And we are seeing him improve in 2025. You know, as the months have gone on, he is becoming more and more solid. Still, distribution is very poor, and he does take his time at the back sometimes. But if Penders is going on loan to Strasbourg for a development season and Petrovic then goes to Bournemouth, we are left with 2 keepers, and that worries me. That is not enough depth going into next season. Yes, we've got Selena. Nothing's been said about him. Are we keeping him? Are we loaning him out? What's happening with Selena? I don't know, or I think that's how you pronounce it, but I don't know what. Nothing's being said. Is he going to be the third choice? Because if he is, okay, cool. We have the 3 goalkeepers, and we are definitely going into the new season with Sanchez as number 1. Which is a whole different problem entirely. Unless he turns into Courtois over the summer, which I highly doubt he will. And he's in for a massive test against PSG this Sunday, and he'll really get exploited if we give PSG the time and space. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But I just thought this was very interesting. Penders goes on loan. Petrovic on the verge of leaving Chelsea. To me, Chelsea have to go back into the goalkeeper market. Maybe we revisit the Mike deal, even though AC Milan said he's staying and that's it, job done. You know, doors shut. Got other links to like Kobel we've been linked with. You've got Diogo Costa. A lot of fans want us to go get someone like that. There's a lot of goalkeepers that we can go and have a look at. But I'm just very curious to know your thoughts on Penders being loaned and what you think Chelsea are going to do in the goalkeeper market with the rest of the summer window, now knowing that Penders is gone and Petrovic is basically out the door. Very curious to know your thoughts. I think we will go back into the market for a goalkeeper. Who we get, I have no idea, but let me know your thoughts down below. And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.